Diet and exercise always help manage any chronic illness, correct? Well, not necessarily. At least not exercise. There are actually some conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome where exercise can actually be a detriment to your well-being. Don't believe me? Well, let's get into it. So one of the most misunderstood things about exercise in this context is that when it comes to chronic fatigue syndrome, exercise, even gradually increasing your tolerance to exercise, will actually often make things worse. This can come as a shock to people, and many just simply won't believe it. And they may even think you are just lazy and looking for an excuse to not exercise. Because it's fairly common knowledge that with a healthy person, consistent exercise is known to increase energy over time. Which again is certainly true with a healthy person. And so, to the public's eye, it makes logical sense that if you exercise more, you'll get more energy. Problem solved, right? Well, not exactly. You see, here is the big issue with chronic fatigue syndrome. At its core, CFS is a condition where your nervous system is constantly stuck in fight or flight mode. And anything, and I mean literally anything, that could potentially signal to your nervous system that you are in danger makes your symptoms worse. Okay, so now picture this. Imagine your nervous system is already on high alert and in survival mode. Then you decide to go outside for a run. Your nervous system will react to this, as though you are running from a bear. Or, if you go to the gym and lift some weights, your nervous system may interpret this as you carrying a small child away from a fire. If you go ride your bike, it may think that you are in a high-speed chase, and the list goes on. When your nervous system is already on high alert, adding any kind of stressor into the situation is a surefire way to make matters worse. Because in a healthy and regulated nervous system, this fight or flight response is meant to kick in to help you survive, give you adrenaline, increase heart rate and breathing, all to help ensure your survival. But when your nervous system is trapped in this high-risk defensive loop for weeks, months, or even years, the system that once protected you begins to work against you. It continues to send your body signals in the form of bodily symptoms to force you to stay in hiding or in your bed. Because the world is too dangerous, and so your nervous system actually begins to think that it is keeping you safe by forcing you to have all these symptoms. Because if you can't leave your house, then you can't get hurt. Now, some people believe that if you just reintroduce exercise gradually enough and pace yourself well enough, you can slowly rebuild your strength and solve the problem that way. And although I won't say that this approach never works, it certainly is not the norm, and most people do not have much luck with gradual exercise training if they have a condition like chronic fatigue syndrome. Because the issue is not a lack of strength or a lack of energy. The lack of energy is the symptom, not the root problem. Unless you fix the nervous system, no amount of endurance training, stretching, or movement will fix your chronic fatigue syndrome. And I can't tell you how much I wish it were that simple. I think most people with CFS would love it if they could just simply walk their way to better health. But it just isn't that straightforward. I know even in my own case that I could physically go walk 2 miles right now, but I know that if I did, it would send me into horrible symptoms and it would take me weeks to recover. My point being that I still have some underlying strength somehow, despite everything, but if I were to go do certain things, it would make me feel much worse. Okay, but if exercise is not the solution, then what is? Well, sadly, the world of CFS is full of theories, small studies, and Reddit threads. Yes, lots of Reddit threads. And this is because for decades, chronic fatigue syndrome was not even considered to be a real condition. It was commonly believed that if a patient was struggling from crippling fatigue for years on end, it was likely all in their head and that the patient just needed to snap themselves out of it, as if all they had to do was wave a magic wand to get better. Thankfully, though, research is finally beginning to surface around the condition. This does not mean that we've completely figured it out yet, but we are making progress. There are certain medications such as low-dose naltrexone that are now being prescribed by CFS specialists to help manage symptoms and calm the nervous system. There are people who have experienced success with brain retraining, essentially recalibrating your nervous system from the ground up. There are certain treatments such as the stellate ganglion block that have limited but promising success. If you want to know more about that, please check out my video on the stellate ganglion block right here. And there are so many other small studies and developments that are happening in the world of CFS. I truly think that the medical system is making progress and that someday we will have a more uniform approach to treating and potentially even curing chronic fatigue syndrome. But the most important thing for people to understand, whether you yourself have CFS or you know someone with CFS, is this. CFS is not, I repeat, not a condition where someone can just push themselves through to better health. They can't muscle their way forward inch by inch. People struggling with CFS typically see the greatest improvement with gentle, very gentle pacing in quiet and well-regulated environments. They thrive when they can create safe spaces for the nervous system to stabilize itself and relearn that it is safe. Drastic lifestyle changes or rigorous physical activity is not only a detriment, but can actually be incredibly harmful for someone with CFS. And so we must learn to be patient, both as the person who is sick and those who are supporting the sick person. Exercise is great under normal circumstances. I am a lifelong runner who is simply on a forced hiatus right now, but someday I will get back out on the road. So I am not against exercise in any way, shape, or form. I am actually a huge advocate for it. But for now, just like you, I am allowing my body the rest it needs. I am trying to reteach my nervous system that I am safe and create the most calm environment I can for my body to heal the way it needs to. And I hope that you will give your body the same grace and compassion so we can both move ourselves closer and closer to recovery. Sound like a plan? Alright, my friends, thank you so much for watching. Please take care, God bless, and we will see you soon. Take care.